All right. We good?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Bobby Brannigan, and I am with my co-presenter, UC. We are going to present on applying to U.S. universities. What should you know? So we're a little bit of an introduction. I work, like I said, for Embry Riddle Aeronautical University. We are a private university in the United States. We have different campuses around the world as well and online. A cool fun fact about our university is that 7 of our alums have become astronauts. So if you wanted to learn about engineering, STEM fields, space exploration, becoming a professional pilot, that's something that you can do at our university. And UC, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining this virtual event with IEFT. For that, I would like to say thank you so much to IEFT and also the whole team, including Silsen. So, as you know, I did presentation last week for students in Turkey. So, merhaba again. Today's presentation with Embry Riddle through Bobby. My name is UC Wahib from Stony Brook University. As you know, based on last week, if you've been attended last week, we are a public university located in New York. We're exactly in New York. We're located on Long Island, around 100 kilometers away from the city. We are a home of 26,000 students and more than 4,000 international students, including Turkish students. So we're very famous for a lot of things. We do have anything you're looking forward to study as a major, from engineering to business, medical, and so on and so forth. So today's presentation, it's not about us. It's more about how you can, if you want to study in the United States, what should you know? What you should know, what you should do, and what you should be aware of before you come to the United States. So the outline for today's presentation will cover a few things that include will make you actually understand what is the U.S. educational system in terms of what types of schools we have here and universities, and also the graduation time for each program that you want to study. So we will also go through like goal setting as a student who is now in Turkey. How do you set up a goal in terms of what you want to study, and can you achieve that goal when you come here to the United States? We'll also talk about standardized testings, all the types of tests you will be studying, you will have to take before coming to the US. Also, the college search, how to make a perfect, successful college search. And also we'll go through the application process and also the financial aid and scholarships available for international students. Next. Sweet. So when applying to the United States, to any university in the United States, whether it's a private or public university, and as an international student, you will come across different terminologies. These terminologies might be confusing to you. They might be new to you. So these terminologies is basically like the common application, SATs, admissions, majors, minors. So it's very important for you as an international student to familiarize yourselves with these terms and understand the meaning of them. So for example, some of you may not know what does it mean, what does a GPA mean, and what is the difference between a major and a minor. So these are kind of things students need to learn about and know the meaning of each thing. Next, Bobby.
All right, so going over different types of schools and institutions in the United States. So there's plenty of different types of schools that we have in the U.S. Over 4,000 cover the United States. So anything from public, private, four-year college and universities, community colleges, or private career colleges. So just going over what each of these are. A public institution is usually funded by local and state government. They do have low tuition fees as well, and they're usually able to provide a lot more aid to students because it is funded by the government. A private institution is like my institution. So we offer pretty much the same tuition rates regardless of state residency. So a lot of public institutions, if you are from that state and you attend a university or college in that state, usually you have a discounted tuition rate. In terms of any private institutions, they offer the same rate regardless. They're not affiliated with the government, and they may be nonprofit businesses like private foundations or religious foundations, or they could be for-profit. So it could be a career, an online, or a technical program. So if you wanted to become a registered nurse, or if you wanted to become something along the lines of the automotive industry, a lot of those different types of programs are a for-profit private institution. Now, thinking about four-year colleges or universities. So four-year means a bachelor degree. And they also could have advanced degrees like master's and PhD. They could have a professional school, specific colleges like medical, law degrees, or certificates. So they usually will not have associate degrees, but they do offer bachelor degrees up to the master's level in the PhD or doctorate level. A community college offer the associate degrees. So a little bit shorter of the programs, 2 years. They're typically significantly cheaper than a four-year university. Some do partner with four-year colleges. So it's kind of like a pathway program. You can begin a certain program in the community college, and then you could transfer those credits into a four-year university or college to complete your degree program. In terms of private career colleges, these are technical, vocational, or trade schools. They're for-profit businesses, but they could be public as well. So those are the specific private career colleges.
Thank you, Bobby. So basically, as an international student, it's very, very important to know the differences between all these types of colleges, whether it's a public or private. So you should ask yourself, it's very important to ask yourselves, like, which one do I want to go to? Is it a public? Do I want to go to a private? Do I want to go to a community college, or do I want to go to a private, technical or vocational school? So it is important. Every one of them may have advantages and disadvantages, but it's very important for you to know and be able to like balance and weigh in which one is good for you and not good. So moving forward, each university or each program that you or school that you gonna anyway end up going for, let's say, for example, here, as you see, like the graduation time for each program is very important thing to know. So if you choose to go to a career or technical trade or vocational courses, typically these are programs that are only for 1 to 2 years. If you want to go to an associate degree, if you want to pursue an associate degrees, you can only get them in a community college. Community colleges, that degree program is only for 2 years. So bachelor's degree in the United States is a 4-year college. You can only get them at 4-year colleges and universities. The time for this program is also 4 years. For master's degree, you can go to 4-year colleges and universities as well if you want to obtain them. Typically, this program could be 2 years. It could be even 1 year if like you choose to do a combined program like what we have here at Stony Brook University. For example, if you want to do a combined program, which means like you do a bachelor's plus 1 year, so 4 plus 1 is 5, which means you graduate in 5 years with both bachelor's degree plus your master's degree. PhD in the United States could only be achieved or obtained at 4-year colleges and universities. Basically, it could take up to 3 years of additional study. Moving next. Sweet. So in this section, we will be talking. We do know that as an international student or as a student from Turkey, if you want to go to the United States, you should have a goal. It's very, very important to have a goal in mind about going to the US. So for example, when we say goal setting, how you have to set up the goal yourself and ask yourself few questions. These questions, if you move forward, if you move ahead, so these questions like, why am I here today? So what is the reason why I'm here today? So ask yourself these questions and be able to answer these questions. What do I want to do after I graduate? So what do I want to be? What courses do I like to study in high school right now? And based on when you answer this question, you will know what kind of courses, what kind of major, what kind of school you will be willing to actually go to and enroll at. So what type of major in university and college or school would help me actually achieve that goal that I have in head. Choose the major that you want. We always say to students that students should choose the major that they want, that they love, not the major that their parents or friends want them to do, because definitely if you love something, you will be very successful in achieving it. So definitely these are important questions. So you should have a goal and you should be able to know and articulate a plan for that goal. And this way it will become very easy for you to choose the university that you want to go for. Next. So basically finding the right fit. So if you wanna, then after answering all these questions, now you need to answer, you need to know how you need to go ahead and find the right fit, find the right university that will achieve that goal, how to do that. Next. Good. So it is very important to ask yourself, who are you? So when we say here, who are you, we mean by like, as a person, as a student, as an international student who wants to come to the US, are you qualified? Are you ready enough? Do you have a college counseling resource that you can rely on? Do you have a CV, a good resume? When we say a good CV and resume, that means academic qualifications, professional qualifications. You have a test that is needed. You have a GPA. You have a school involvement. You've been involving at school a lot, doing after school activities, and so on and so forth. So those are really, really important to know. Bobby?
Yeah, so in terms of, you know, thinking about who you are, you know, academic qualifications, professional qualifications, language skills. Like UC was saying, like the school involvement, events, athletics. So are you on a sports team? Do you do extracurricular activities? Do you do community service? Do you volunteer? So those types of things can all go into a holistic admission review of you when you are applying to these universities. So making sure that you are up to speed with your GPA. You know, look at the minimum GPAs that are required for specific programs. So like here at Embry Riddle, we require a higher GPA for any of our technical programs, like our engineering programs, astronomy and astrophysics, those types of things. So making sure that your GPA is up to par. You're doing well in those specific courses, like the maths and the sciences, to make sure that you meet the minimum requirements of those schools that you're applying to.
Great. Now, there are a few questions you need to have in mind, or few things you need to consider when you're choosing a school. So choosing the right fit, you have to know about few things, and you have to ask these questions. So the first thing here, as you can see on the screen, is location of the school. It is very important to know if you want to go to a school, or if any school try to approach you, you need to know if that location is what you want as a person or as a student. For example, you need to ask questions about urban. Is that school an urban or suburban or rural? So, or is it closer to the beach? Is it closer to the city? Is it, I mean, are there like public transportations available there? How is the weather there? So all these questions about location, you should be aware of. Then if you see here the value, merit-based scholarship, the value here is very important to students. So if you want to go to study in the United States, and you know that you want to go to this particular school, you need to know about how much it costs, whether there are merit-based scholarships, there are need-based scholarships offered by the school, and then you should also ask yourself, does the scholarship meet my financial expectation? Does that tuition amount of fees I'm going to be paying, does it meet my financial expectations as well? Then there is academics. Academics is very important here when considering a school or an institution in the United States. So you want to ask yourself, what is the ranking of this school? How many majors are offering? Can I minor and major at the same time when I go there? Career opportunities, internships, and so on and so forth. So for example, Stony Brook University, we have more than 200 academic programs, and our ranking, so we are among the top 100, we are among the top 1% in the world, and as a public institution, we are among the top 35 public universities in the United States. How about you, Bobby?
As for Embry Riddle, a lot of our programs, like the #1 undergraduate aerospace engineering program, we offer top-ranked programs as well. We're in the top 5% of the aeronautical universities because we do offer all the way up to a PhD level as well. So yeah, it just kind of depends. You know, with our school and a lot of schools like the State University of New York system, there's a lot of different locations that you could go to. So you would just need to choose the best fit for you and determine what that is. Do your research, making sure that you look into what the school has to offer you. And that's where you can get some of the opinions from your friends and from your family, you know, in terms of these types of things, not what you necessarily would study to.
Great. So other things students, international students, if they want to come to the United States, they should consider when choosing the right fit is living on campus. So living on campus is very, very important to a lot of international students that they want to move to the United States and study. So it is very important to know and ask the question, do you guys have housing guaranteed for international students? Can I live on campus? Is it mandatory to live on campus? What is offered on campus? Do you guys have a gym? Do you have clubs? Do you have cafeterias? What kind of food is offered on campus? Do you guys accommodate all kinds of cuisines, halal, kosher and Indian food, or what types of cuisines do you have and how many do you have? So it's very, as a student, as an international student coming from Turkey, I would want to know if these are all offered on campus, and also if I could live on campus and how much does it cost to live on campus. Bobby?
Yeah, and then going into diversity, you know, are you welcome? What is the rate of international versus in-state and out-of-state students? So here at Embry Riddle, we're about 19% international on our Daytona Beach campus. We recognize students from over 124 different nations and countries. So how about you, UC?
Yes, at Stony Brook University, we have more than 4,400 international students. We do represent more than 110 different countries, including Turkey. So yes, it is important for me if I want to come to the US and study at this university. I want to know how many Turkish students are actually studying at this university. I want to know how many other nationalities actually exist. So it is very important to know that.
Yep, thank you. In terms of research opportunities, so you need to make sure that there's research opportunities if that's what you want to go into. So a lot of research will move you into that higher education. So you start out with your bachelor, you can research during your bachelor degree, and then that could move you on to the next step, which would be maybe your master degree. Maybe you can go right into a PhD or a doctorate level, or you could just be doing research to start your own company, to go work for a company that needs that type of mindset. Make sure that they have your academic program of interest. So if you're interested in studying something biology, you don't want to go to a liberal arts school that doesn't give biology as one of their majors. So the research opportunities are huge, you know, and that is what's going to get you kind of to the next level and give you more of that theoretical and hands-on learning too.
Absolutely. So at Stony Brook University, for example, we are a large research comprehensive institution. We get involved in a lot of research from day one. So when you graduate from Stony Brook, it's not only a degree, it's going to be actually a degree plus a publication, and research will be attached to your name. And that's a great thing. So moving forward, the admissions requirements. So one of the things also you should consider when choosing a school, and if you want to know that you're choosing the right thing, it is very important to familiarize yourself with the admissions requirements. So is your GPA or is your current academic qualifications fit that school? Do you want to go to that school that accepts a minimum requirement GPA of like 2.5, or do you want to go to a higher than that? So so you need to familiarize yourself with that and see if that's what you want to go to or not. For example, GPA, what is the minimum requirement? What is do I need to provide additional essays, letters of recommendations, SAT, what is the score for the TOEFL? Is it test optional? Course evaluation, what is the deadlines? Deadlines are very, very important here to consider. And also, do I need translation for my documents as an international student? Great. So in this section, we'll be talking about the tests. So if you want to come to the United States, there are different tests that you need to take. Do you know what are these tests that you need to take? Well, so I'm sure that you know, are you familiar about a lot of tests that we've been actually, that you might have heard of, or you need to know about what are they. So typically, as you can see here on the screen, there are two types. We put them so we put one in the left side and this category in the right side. The reason simply is because there's types of tests where they are only English proficiency tests, where you don't need to be tested in other things but English. For the ACT and the SAT, for example, they are here separate category. Why? Because these tests are, you're not only tested in English, you are also tested in them about math. So some universities may require the SAT, some universities may do not require the ACT. So in the other part of that category, you find the TOEFL, the IELTS, the and Duolingo, which is a new test now that's a lot of universities are starting to accept, and it's very easy. And we, as a university, we highly recommend students to just apply with Duolingo tests as long as they have 105 as a minimum score. So this test is actually very easy. You can take it from home, and also you can simply just get the results of it within 2 days. And it's been very convenient for a lot of our international students, especially given the current circumstances of the COVID-19 situation. Also, the TOEFL and the IELTS, they moved also to providing these tests online given the situation. So these are also tests that you can also choose to do. So the TOEFL is something, for example, for us at Stony Brook, the minimum score that we require for the TOEFL is 80, the IELTS 6.5, the Duolingo is 6.105. How about you, Bobby?
Yeah, pretty much the same with us. So we would require a minimum TOEFL of 79. The IELTS is a 6.0, so just a little bit under what UC at Stony Brook would require. Duolingo is the same, 105. So I know that a lot of the times that you're researching these tests, maybe you look at comparisons between the tests. So just because a 105 in Duolingo equals maybe a 75 in TOEFL, that doesn't mean that that's what the university or college will accept. So they have their minimums. Usually they're posted right on their websites. So you can research that because the test scores vary depending on what test you're taking. In terms of ACT, excuse me, or SAT, we at Embry Riddle do not require SAT or ACT for admission. However, we do require them for any scholarship consideration, which we will probably touch on at the end of this webinar. But yeah, so just research on what universities or institutions actually require the SAT or ACT, because not a lot of them actually do. So a lot more institutions are going away from requiring these tests, you know, depending on whatever it may be. It could be testing location centers that are not accessible to international students, or it's just not a good aptitude test for students to take. But more and more of them do only require them for scholarship consideration. So ACT, we're looking for around a 25 or over, and then SAT, we're looking at least a 1200 or higher, and that's the critical reading and the math section. So.
Thank you, Bobby. Pretty much the same thing for us as Stony Brook University. So basically, SAT is highly recommended for if you want to be considered for any scholarship. And we touch base about scholarship, as Bobby said, in the next slide. However, for restrictive majors like engineering, if you want to do engineering, basically like computer science or biomedical engineering or civil engineering, we would like to see an SAT. So, but given the circumstances, we're becoming more flexible. So if you're applying for now, we could just take you without the SAT as long as you have a TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. So moving to the next slide. Nice. Now, the application process. The application process is very important in applying to any universities, and understanding the application process is very crucial. That's why, as an international student, you need to familiarize yourself with this process, because not all the universities are the same. While they could be like similar in a lot of things, it is very, very important to actually understand it and ask questions. So the first thing that we do recommend students to do is get to know your admissions counselor. So there is Bobby here, there is me here. So just talk to me, send me a message, Ask a lot of questions. Don't be scared. Even though if we don't know that question, we will be able to get you an answer if it doesn't concern the admissions office. So it's very important to ask us questions. That's our job, is to answer those questions. Also, the Common Application. So the Common Application is one of the forms that a lot of universities in the United States actually rely on. So it's only one of many forms, but basically it's called the Common Application because it's more common to a lot of international students and U.S. Universities. So, Bobby, do you guys use the Common Application as well?
Do not use the Common Application. So many smaller private universities don't use the Common Application. So you would have to go to the online application, which is submitted directly on our website. So usually, just like the Common App, we're able to give application waivers, but all the information, instead of being able to upload it into one centralized area, it's going to have to come directly to the university from the institution, from the testing service, or from yourself. So.
Great. So you could find universities that they have their own application, like what Embry Riddle has. You could find other universities that use Common Application. We accept Coalition application. We also, as a SUNY school, we have the SUNY application, but we highly recommend using for the Common Application because it's easier for students, and it's more convenient to students because you can just keep that application, choose around 10 universities, and just like send it to them very easily. So essay, it's very important in the application process to know if you are required to write an essay or not. For example, for us transfer students, they're not. If you're a transfer student, meaning you are already attending a college or university in Turkey and you want to come to the US, there is only an online form that you have to fill out, which is the Common Application or the Coalition app or the SUNY app, but you don't have to write an essay. There are some essays required for scholarship. They could be also as a freshman student, you will be right. How about you, Bobby?
Here, so we don't require an essay or a personal statement for our applications. It is good to have one ready though, and it should tell us who you are. So tell us, a story or something that's happened to you, why you want to study at our university. Make sure that you pay attention to it, proofread it. But a lot of times, if we require additional information, maybe your GPA, like your grades, which is on the next your academic records. If you're kind of struggling a little bit, we might request that you submit an essay. So it'd be good to think about topics now, and just to have something as a backup, just in case you do want to submit. But yeah, it's not required. It's just something that we recommend you just having.
So for test scores, so it is very important during the application process, also understanding what kind of test scores is required to that university or that particular major that you want to apply for. Academic records in English, grade 9 to 11, and possibly the mid-year grades. You may want to know if you need a translation for that. You may want to know if you only need the last 3 years or you need the last 4 years. Do you need just grade 10, 11, and 12? You need also to know if you are required to submit letters of recommendations. Do you need them, if they are in English, do you need them to have them translated as well? Don't wait the last minute to ask about them, because a lot of teachers may be on vacation or may say, oh, you didn't give me a long notice and now you're telling me and I'm busy right now. So also, one of the key things you have to keep in mind is the deadlines. Do you have to familiarize yourselves with the deadlines of whether it's a scholarship or, so you have to know, for example, at Stony Brook University, the deadline to submit applications is January 15. How about you, Bobby?
Yeah, at Embry, we do a rolling admission, so we don't necessarily have an admission deadline, but it is good to start early. We tell students to apply at least 1 year before they would like to enroll. That way you can go through the admission process, because a lot of, getting the documents together, being prepared and ready to be admitted to the university or go through admission review could take up to, 2 to 3 months. So it's giving yourself enough time to get the application in and then to get all your information in as well.
So basically, if you are ready, you have to consider all these questions that we put here on this slide. Some universities may require WES, which is WES evaluations, which is World Education Services, very known for like taking your grades of whether it's a high school or college grades and put them, evaluate them, and put them in a US GPA format, so that universities would understand. A lot of universities now do not require that service anymore, but it is very important to know if you need to submit such thing. Next slide. Great. Now scholarships, and I know a lot of you are here because they want to know about scholarships. So I would do the same if I'm still looking for it. So basically, scholarship, what should you know? So a lot of things that you need to know about scholarships. So when considering moving to the United States, when you're considering also applying to any university, and you may not be able to pay the tuition fee for that university, we do ask the first rule. We do ask students to also get in touch with an admissions counselor and ask the question, what are the scholarships that I qualify for? So this way, you know the deadline and you know how to proceed. So Bobby, could you please tell us what kind of scholarships does Embry Riddle have?
Yeah, so we offer scholarships based on merit, so based on SAT or ACT and your high school GPA. We do grant transfer scholarship, so based on your college or university transfer GPA or grade point average. We also give athletic scholarships. So depending on if you want to be in a competitive sports team at the university, we do offer athletic scholarships. And then there are a lot of other specific type of scholarships. Like we have a Women of Excellence scholarship. So if you're a female and you have a GPA of at least 3.0, we give you the scholarship just because you're a woman. So we take pride in having women come to our university and for them to be able to study in the STEM fields. We have like specific college scholarships. So College of Business, we give a scholarship to if you enroll in one of those business programs, engineering scholarships, whatever it may be. So a lot of institutions have specific scholarships for specific things that are institutionally granted. There are external scholarships as well that you're able to apply for.
Thank you. For Stony Brook University, we also have lots of scholarships that international students can actually apply and qualify for. So basically, we do have a You Are Welcome Here scholarship, which is, this is like probably the third and the fourth year in a row that we have the scholarship. Every time we offer it to around 10 students. The scholarships gives the international students the ability to get half of the tuition fees covered. That's $12,000 per year for the full year student study at Stony Brook. So basically, there is a separate form for that scholarship. So we do ask students to fill out a simple form, but before that, they have to apply to the university. They have to be an applicant. So they fill out that information, that form, and they will be asked to write an essay about leadership. So whether write an essay or put a video together of yourself talking about your skills, leadership skills, and why do you think you are a good leader that could come to Stony Brook University. So we do have a lot of students that got that scholarship because they were able to demonstrate a high level of leadership skills that they have demonstrated at the high school level, and we are really want them to bring them to our university. There are other scholarships also that we have, like the WISE scholarship, which is pretty much similar to what Bobby said, which is designed only for women studying the STEM and sciences and engineering. So because we do want women in our programs, and because we do believe in their capabilities, that scholarship is pretty much a merit-based scholarship. We also have other scholars and honors scholarship, and we also have a need-based scholarship, so specifically designed for students that need some sort of financial aid, some sort of financial help. And in that case, we ask students to get back to contact us directly and share their concern, and we will put them in a list and see what we can do to help them financially based on need. So that's why it's very important to get in touch with an admissions counselor like me or Bobby and just ask the question, what do we have? And we would advocate for you, and we would help you and show you the deadlines that are there so you can meet them, and you don't wait until like June or May or April and you say, oh, by the way, I got accepted, do you have a scholarship? And then you find out that sorry, the scholarship deadline has already passed and we already given the decisions. That was back in March 1st. So you don't want to fall in that situation. So that's why we ask you to be aware of the deadlines, and also more simply just get in touch with us directly. So the widest variety of these scholarships available, it could be based on test scores, SAT or ACT. While some of them, like need-based, it will be only based on your need. So you have to understand those terms and conditions that we put there if you want to be qualified for scholarships. You have to also keep in mind that you may need letters of recommendation. You may need some sort of other documents to provide if you want to be a part of that scholarship. Private institutions tend to offer a little more money than the public ones. Basically, as we said at the beginning, because private institutions also have they're not like the public institutions, where we are, as a public institution, we get funds from the government, from the state, and that makes actually our tuition fees already in nature more affordable. That's why our scholarship would be like less in value in terms of, for when you look at it from a private institution's perspective. So when applying to scholarships, some universities may require additional application, like what we do for only the You Are Welcome Here scholarships. Some scholarships you will be probably automatically reviewed for it, so you have to keep them in mind. Or you may need to opt in and check the box somewhere on the common application or the online form that they have. Bobby, do you have anything similar to that for your online form? Do students have to indicate somewhere that they need to apply for a scholarship?
So no, students are automatically considered at the time of admission as long as they have submitted their SAT or ACT test scores. If they're a first-time incoming student, so they have not gone to university or college. Any other scholarship, if they are admitted and then they submit an SAT or ACT at a later date, we would need to submit a scholarship appeal. But all the other scholarships, they would have to physically go in and apply for those. So they're not automatically considered for them.
Great. So as I said, so it's very important to know all about this information when it comes to scholarship. We do also advise students to always ask the institution about or understand the length of that scholarship. Is it for 1 year? Is it for 2 years? Is it for the whole duration I will be there? So it's very important to know that as well. And also very important to know, because when you get a scholarship, you may want you may lose that scholarship if you don't maintain a certain GPA. So it's very important that you know the certain GPA. You have to maintain a certain GPA for the 4 years so you don't lose it, because some scholarship you may lose it the next year if your GPA went below 3.0. And I think that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much. As you can see here on the last slide, that's our contact details. My email and Bobby's email is down there. Please reach out to us, and we would be very happy to chat with you more individually about our institutions or advise you on how to apply to any universities. We thank you for attending this presentation. We thank the IEFT, and I hope during this circumstance of the COVID-19 that you are all staying healthy and safe.
I agree. Thank you so much, Yussi. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, please do contact us. Do we have time for question and answer right now?
Well, you have 5 minutes, and there is a question on the questions tab.
Okay. Yussi, can you see that?
Let me see.
So it says, hi, I'm already studying medicine here in Turkey. I'm in my first year. Could I apply to a medical school in US? I know the system is different there, but could I?
So a lot of universities in the United States, they do require that if you want to study medicine, you have to study medicine first in the United States. So you have to start it in the US, and then you have to have a pre-med track, and then after that you apply to the School of Medicine. So that's for us. I don't know about you, Bobby.
So we don't necessarily have a specific medicine program at Embry Riddle. However, we do have pre-med. So if you're in your first year of medicine in, say, a bachelor degree, like a 4-year degree program, then yes, you could potentially come to the United States, transfer into one of our pre-med programs like forensic biology, forensic psychology, human factors, one of those things. But you would have to utilize that in order to try to get into a medical school here in the United States. I don't know how many students are able to enroll in medical schools here in the United States, because I don't know if we necessarily track them after they leave Embry Riddle. But
great. So pretty much the same thing for us as well. So we're very actually famous for our medical programs. We have School of Medicine, School of Dental, School of Nursing, School of Health Management and Technology, and School of Medicine. So basically, we do have Stony Brook University Hospital, which is a research teaching hospital, and we even invented the MRI technology back in the 70s by one of our faculty members, which won Nobel Prize of Medicine. So basically, as Bobby said, the best thing the student can do is transfer to our pre-med programs, do it, finish it, and then apply to School of Medicine or School of Nursing or whatever it is, and then take the MCAT test and all that. That was a very good question. Thank you. Any other questions?
Let's wait and see if there is other questions, maybe a few minutes. And if there is none, then we can say goodbye.
No problem. I think we did a great job. That's why they don't have any questions.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was really great explanation. I think they must have been like really good understanding.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, please, if any questions do come up, if you can't think of any here, after you've already spoken, to your family or whatever it may be, definitely contact us. I do see that a question just popped up. So I want to apply fine art master programs. Are there any programs? So UC, do you have any fine arts master programs? I only have more technical and business programs in terms of masters. So I don't necessarily have anything in the arts.
Yeah, we do have a lot of arts programs at the master level. I would definitely advise you to go to our website and just look all the majors that we have. So basically, I cannot through the screen now, I cannot pull out that information for you. But if you send me an email in a little bit, I will send you all the list for those programs or what are the requirements for that. Basically, for master's program, some of them we do not require the GRE and GMAT, but some of them we would require that. If we don't require the GRE GMAT, we would definitely require the TOEFL or the IELTS. So basically, the TOEFL is 85 minimum for master's program, and the IELTS would be a minimum of 6.5 score. I do see another question. Hello, do you give scholarships to all student athletes? Do you just give the best of the best?
So I believe that we give scholarships to mostly all of our student athletes. I think all of them, because you kind of have to be the best of the best in order to be able to have the coaches recruit you to be part of the team. So at our university, we're NCAA Division II collegiate athletics. So in terms of those scholarships, usually it's enough to cover at least tuition. And then based with the merit scholarships, you could go up to, your full cost of enrollment could be, could be covered there. So how about you, UC?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Pretty much the same thing for us. Thank you, Nalan, for that question. So basically, Stony Brook University is a Division I school as well. We have 18 Division I teams, which include soccer, football, basketball, tennis, swimming, and so on and so forth. So students have to be eligible first to be accepted, and it's the coach that would actually decide about that. So basically, we could literally do another session just about the Division I schools and how students can apply for join a team and for athletics scholarship. But definitely we do have that could cover your whole. It's a full ride scholarship, and students that qualified would definitely get it. But there are steps and and a few things that students should be aware of when applying if they want to be considered for an athletic scholarship. And they're all, like mentioned, you can all find them on the NCAA website. So we do advise you to go to the NCAA website and research eligibility scholarship for that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, please, Selson, if you could just post maybe on the chat our information details, contact details, like if students have, I don't know if I can do that. You can do that too, right, Bobby?
Yep.
I can do that if you want. I'll share your email, yeah?
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Have you been to Turkey, Bobby?
Unfortunately, I have not been to Turkey. So I've been all over the Middle East and I have not been. So hopefully, if we're able to start traveling again in the fall, I'm able to go to Turkey. I'm able to visit some of you. But yep, we'll definitely make that a priority for sure.
I've been there 3 times and I always want to go back. So
yeah.
People and the food and the country, it's a beautiful country. So we'll look forward to go back again once the situation gets back to normal.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Bobby and UC. It was a really great presentation, and I hope that it was beneficial for all the participants too. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.